Hey guys, Chase here with Morrison Property Inspections located in beautiful Boise, Idaho. Today we're talking about CYA language. If you don't know what CYA language means, it means cover your, you can guess. Now, why am I bringing that up? Well, it's littered in inspection reports and needs to be used wisely and minimally. Now, this all ties into understanding your inspection report, understanding the language, the verbiage, and this is an important part because this is probably where most buyers get confused when understanding the inspection report. So with that being said, let's go. All right, guys, CYA language, cover your butt. Why is it in the inspection report? Well, it helps inspectors limit their liability in circumstances that are beyond their control or beyond their human capabilities while at a house during an inspection. What do I mean by that? Common example is going to be loose fill attic insulation. So when an attic is filled with 14 inches, 16 inches of loose fill insulation, there are 14 to 16 inches worth of beams, whether that's the ceiling joists running underneath, supporting the roof structure, or it's potentially the truss or the rafters. When it's buried in 14 to 16 inches of insulation throughout the entire attic space, it's unreasonable to have the expectation that a home inspector is going to clear out all of that insulation and verify the condition of every single beam. It's considered unreasonable during the inspection process, during the standards of practice that we abide by. And so an inspector has to put verbiage in his or her report mentioning that there's limited review of the attic space due to loose fill insulation. And typically they follow that up by saying, suggest further review by a qualified professional. Now, the question is how many people actually follow through with a further review by a qualified professional? Very few, if any, because what that entails is having a HVAC contractor or insulation contractor get up there, suck out all of the insulation in the attic space, then call the inspector back out, or for them to personally inspect all the items, put together a report on it, and then blow all the insulation back in. You think someone's going to do that for a couple $100? I don't think so. And home buyers don't typically want to spend the money to verify something that requires that much effort and labor. So an inspector has to put in CYA language in cases that are beyond his or her ability to inspect, but they need to use it wisely. Oftentimes inspectors get a bad rap, and I don't blame them because what they end up doing is they provide a CYA language comment on just about everything they inspect to limit the liability off of their backs. But they're being disingenuous and they're not looking after the best interest of their buyers, and that's not providing the insight they need or the confidence they need to move forward through a home transaction. So when I say that they're being disingenuous, they're overutilizing it, that would be the example of, let's say I inspect the electrical panel. I inspect the entire panel. I inspect every outlet throughout the house, every single electrical system in the house I'm inspecting. But at the end of it, I still put suggest further review by a qualified electrician, even though I didn't call out anything or find any flaws in the electrical system. Now, obviously, standards of practice state I'm not responsibility for the condition of the wires inside of a wall because I'm not breaking open walls or drywall and things of that nature. But if I don't see any issues with the electrical system throughout the house and throughout all my tests and inspection procedures, no red flags popped up, why would I put a comment in the report to say verify condition with an electrician? The only reason why someone would do that is to limit their liability and essentially kick the football or hand off the football to somebody else and hand off that liability to somebody else rather than taking ownership of their work. So CYA language is oftentimes going to be in every single inspection report you find. It's just the matter of the use cases of it and the amount of it. And if you're working with a quality home inspection company, they're going to minimize that CYA language as much as possible because if they're competent and doing their job, they don't need to utilize it. And the times that they do, just ask for clarification. The attic space is an excellent example that most people recognize that that's beyond the scope of a general inspection. Anything else, for example, would be insulated subfloor. A lot of this has to do with insulation, as I'm sure you guys are catching on a trend here. If the entire subfloor has insulation attached to it, it's beyond the scope of the inspection for us to remove every single piece of insulation and inspect every inch of the subfloor. Now, if there's not insulation on there, of course we're liable for that. Same thing goes with the interior stem wall when there's either a vapor barrier or insulation covering that as well too. There's limits to what human beings can do, can see, and can get accomplished within an inspection contingency, and particularly within the 2.5 to 3 hour window that a home inspection is scheduled and expected to be completed by. So if you're buying or selling a home, check out these videos, like, subscribe, and comment. Let me hear what questions you have before going into your inspection contingency and see how I can help you.